Hey friends, Scott Barber here, Grace Community Church. We're on day 9 of our fasting and prayer, seeking God to form himself in us, that he would increase, that Jesus would increase, and that we would decrease. And we're in Colossians chapter 2, today focused on verses 11 through 15. I'm going to read 8 through 15 here, just to give us context, and then we'll dive right in. By the way, I don't know where you're at and what you're doing today, but I hope you're having a good day, and I hope you experience the love of Jesus here today. So let's dive right in. See to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy and empty conceit according to human tradition, according to the elemental spirits of the world, and not according to Christ. For in him the whole fullness of deity dwells bodily, and you have been filled in him who is the head and rule of all authority. In him you are also circumcised with a circumcision made without hands, by putting off the body of the flesh, by the circumcision of Christ, having been buried with him in baptism, in which you were also raised with him through faith in the powerful working of God, who raised him from the dead. And you, who were dead in your trespasses and in the uncircumcision of your flesh, God made you alive together with him, having forgiven us all our trespasses, by canceling the record of debt that stood against us with the legal demands. This he set aside, nailing it to the cross. He disarmed the rulers and authorities and put them to open shame by triumphing over them in him. There's a lot going on here. You may have got distracted and even disconnected while I was just reading the scriptures, because there's just so many different things it's talking about here. Powers, authority, a circumcision, resurrection, all kinds of different things happening here. And let me try to simplify it or clarify what's going on here. Is at this time, the people at Colossae were being influenced that there are other ways to experience change, that there's these secret or special ways that you can have power in your life and you can be changed and transformed. And so he's telling them, be careful. There's these empty philosophies and ideas that are going to try to take you captive and draw you in away from Christ. Christ is your hope for transformation, for change in this life, let alone in the next. And so he goes on to explain, Jesus is God. He has all the power for you to experience change and transformation in your life. You don't have to go to these gimmicks or these external kinds of things, or there's not this special knowledge. It's all in Jesus. There's not some mystical, magical kinds of spiritual things that if you get connected in like new agey kinds of stuff and getting connected to the earth and these things, that you'll find this special kind of change and the power there. No, Jesus, he created all these things. Maybe you've experienced this in just some practical ways in your life. If you keep trying to experience change, whether it's psychologically, maybe it's how you see yourself, maybe it's your body image, maybe the dieting, maybe it's working out, maybe it's you tried to change friend groups and things like this, but you always seem to go back and end up back, stuck in these behaviors, in this thinking, in this acting, in this living, and you're wondering, how do I get out of this? And the temptation is to change the things externally. If I change how I dress, if I change how I look, if I change what I eat, if I change merely just the messages I tell myself. And Paul's is saying here, there's no matter of external kind of change that's going to give you the change you need to see your life change, to give you joy, to give you freedom for this life and the next. And so he explains here, there's some people talking about circumcision, that Jesus has circumcised you spiritually. Circumcision was this physical thing that was done to males on the 8th day of after their birth. The circumcision was a cutting of their male genitalia. Again, it's this external thing that Paul's talking about. And he's saying, no, but Jesus does this for you in your hearts. He does this for you in your soul. He changes you internally. Jesus does this. He goes on to explain that this was done through his death and resurrection. Friends, there's no change that we're going to experience in this life outside of the deep work of death and resurrection in us. We need to be crucified with Jesus. We need to die on the cross to ourselves and to sin, but we also need to be made alive, as he talks about here in verse 12 and 13. You have been in God through Jesus made alive through the resurrection. We've got to die with him in order to experience resurrection life. Friends, if you've not been made alive, if you're not being made alive daily through the resurrection power of Jesus, you're not going to change. It doesn't matter how much external stuff you do. It doesn't matter how much psychological effort you apply. It doesn't matter what you look like. You'll always still go back to the same thinking, feeling, and behaving. We need resurrection. We need that power of Jesus in us. And that only happens when we die with him. We got to die to stuff. We got to die to crap. We got to die to ourselves. As Paul says, I've been crucified with Christ. And it is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives within me. So friends, I want to encourage us today to take time to get at the foot of the cross, to ask him, to ask Jesus to help you die with him. Maybe there's specific ways, there's specific areas that you want to change, whether it's in the food, whether it's in chemical substance abuse, whether it's in your thinking and abuse and trauma that's been done to you and how you feel. Maybe it's in your mood swings. Whatever it may be, come and be crucified with Christ and receive his resurrection power in you. Let him change you first before you're going to be able to change what you do and how you think in a sustainable ways. We got to receive that resurrection work every day. Be made alive today, friends, and every day, and you will be changed. I hope that you can tap into this today and tomorrow and every day. Blessings, friends. We love you.